Hello, everyone. First, shout out to the student Intifadah and for the work that they're doing. And second, and more importantly, there's a genocide going on, and it's been going on for 75 years, and it's escalating, and they're not backing down. So I think it was said before, but all of this, what we're experiencing, in a way, pales in comparison. It's part of the fight and the struggle. I got suspended in January for teach-ins and for things that I said. And I'm an adjunct faculty at NYU. And the suspension is really getting fired. They just keep you suspended so they don't make a fuss about it. But more importantly, just a couple of points, because I do want to stick to time and hear from the students and hear from others. Observations that we've seen in New York. The NYPD, in coordination with FBI, counterterrorism, all of these things, undercover cops, riot police jumping out of New York cabs, tactics of terrorizing people inside the cells, um, creating frozen zones like you saw in 9/11, suspension of civil liberties in entire swaths of geography when they went after CUNY encampment and Columbia encampment. This is not police shutting down something and being called by the administration to shut down something. They're identifying the student intifada as an insurgency, and they are applying modes of counterinsurgency through and through. So that's one observation. The second thing is that the student movement on campuses is really taking aim also at extensions of the state. The universities, the museums, these are sites of struggle where our lives touch the institutions and the state in the most immediate way. And now they're changing the rules. The administration has never been on the side of students. In fact, the administration has always been against students and against teaching. That's why they're created. And a big difference from the 70s or 60s and now is look at that administrative class and how much it grew. And grew in comparison to other jobs, grew in comparison to the role that they play in the institution. If you look at NYU, 70+% of the faculty are adjunct. So this is a business model. They're running a corporation, right? So I think like that's coming to bear on this, and it may explain why every time they've evicted or swept an encampment, it was administration literally in a circle with counterterrorism groups in New York, not separate, not asking for the cops to take something under control. Things are under control with the students. They invite the police for violence. And I think it's important to note that the violence is the genocide. There are no outside agitators. The outside agitators is a phrase that they've introduced and they've used time and time again for 200 years. And if you look at the administrative class and how they've applied negotiations, they've applied it as a tactic similar to what Israel did to the Palestinians during the Oslo peace process. Divide and conquer. There's an inside, there's an outside. Are you a student? Are you not a student? Are you allowed in? Are you not allowed in? These tactics are meant to break the front that's forming that begun with the students but doesn't end with the students. There isn't a campus that's separate from the neighborhood surrounding it. There isn't a university in the United States that doesn't exist on stolen land. This is the danger of the United States. So to the extent that we say divestment, transparency, it's a demand that makes clear, and it's a position that is righteous to be held for students who are paying money to get an education that then get called terrorists and not human. But at the same time, I have not seen an administration in New York that has dealt with the students in good faith. These negotiations have been carried out as a PR tactic. No more, no less. You saw it in Colombia, you saw it in CUNY. What does that say for our movements and how we engage in negotiations with them? And what is our strategic objective in conversation? I would say something like that, where they're trying to divide us from the outside, is precisely what shouldn't happen. And you saw that in Harvard. When they tried to attack the encampment yesterday, the march went to the president's office. And the march came not just from students, it came from the community surrounding students. So I think one of the things that the student movement is allowing to happen is these interconnected struggles are actually not a weakness. There's where leverage and strength can be carried to achieve objectives within the university, but more importantly, to stop the genocide. And I think genocide has a very specific time frame to it. I'm just looking at my notes to see if there's anything else. Um, that's it for now.